Hello everyone, my name is Ekaterina Kardakova. I'm an opera singer, voice and public speaking coach, but also I'm a founder of Creative Tech Lab. In this video, I want to talk to you about why does the voice sound monotonous. I think this is the most common question which I heard from the people who come to my website and write me a request or to come to my trainings, webinars or wherever. People would like to know how to speak less monotonous, especially in terms of online meetings, online conferences, online presentations, or online webinars or whatever. Because in the video we talk to each other, or you can see me, I'm telling you and giving you some information, and you can see and pursue me only through my upper body, my body language, my mimic, and the sound of my voice. And of course, it's very important to understand how the voice is working and how to make it less monotonous. But I just, said the word webinar, and I remembered that I want to invite you next Monday, on the 5th of December at 7 p.m. in my Telegram channel. I will do the webinar, which is called How to Sound Confidently, The Secret of Powerful Voice by Opera Singers. In this webinar, I will share with you and I will explain to you how the individual characteristics of your voice influence your communication, how to train the voice to sound really powerful, meaning that how to train your breathing, and of course I will explain to you the connection between emotions and voice. And I've made this webinar a couple of times, and every time people said like, wow, I would never ever think about the voice from this perspective. Of course not. I mean, you're not a professional opera singer, I always answer, because people who come to my webinars, they're not opera singers. And of course, for me, as a professional opera singer who work a lot with the voice, I have my perspective of seeing things and understanding what is voice. And that's why today I would like to explain to you where all this monotonousness, can you say this, monotonousness, come from. You should understand the most important thing. The voice is the instrument of emotions. The very simple example, when people come to the opera, mostly time the audience really doesn't understand what we are singing about, because we're singing, it's loud, it's long, and the voice can be 5 minutes long, one word. And it's really the lyrics very often not that understandable, but somehow people still understand what we are talking about. Of course, you might say, no, we read the libretto, we read the story, or we already know what is the story about. Yes, but in this story, there are different scenes and there are different mini mise-en-scènes, mini stories, which are, are connected all together. But how you understand, for example, a protagonist or a soprano singing an aria? How do you understand that she's sad or she's happy, or any kind of emotions? Because you don't really listen to the words, you understand the emotion, because the voice is the really, really powerful instrument of emotions. I think that the most powerful than other instruments. And how I create these emotions as a professional opera singer. Of course, we are trained actors, and if you are not a trained actress, you might understand the emotions from a little bit different perspective. But I would like to show you the perspective of professional actors. Acting is all about understanding and expressing big emotions. In the theater, on the stage, we always exaggerate our emotions to understand, to make all these emotions understandable to our audience. We work with the voice, with mimics, but first of all, we work with imagination. So, for example, I sing the aria Bravoure, with lots of coloratura, and it might be joy, what do I imagine at this moment? My task is to put myself in this, or remember about some emotional situation when I felt very, very, very happy. I remember this, I imagine this, and I sing this aria or this, coloratura with this emotion. And then you as an audience can understand that I'm happy. Because coloraturas might be, angry or powerful or motivating. They are different emotions. But at this moment, you understand that I'm happy, or my protagonist is happy. That's why I created for all of my, business students, because I teach a lot in business schools, and try to understand or explain to people who are not professional actors or not, of course, not opera singers, how the emotions and the voice are working. And I invented this exercise, which I want to show you. The thing is that I took some different tongue twisters and wrote next to them two different emotions. For example, now, as an example, I took the tongue twister, the next nest will not necessarily be next to nothing. And the two emotions, completely opposite emotions, are optimistic, I should say optimistic and guilty. Why the tongue twister? Because for me it was very important that people really train the emotions, the expression, and not the meaning. Because if I would took some sentence with meaning, people would, focused on meaning and not on the emotion. That's why if you do the same exercise, please take some tongue twister or whatever, take some phrase which doesn't have too much meaning to you, with which you can play around with your emotions. So, and what is the task? I took this tongue twister, and I have to say this tongue twister with two different emotions. For example, the emotion number one is optimistic. If you don't know how to create a particular emotion, we have 7 basic emotions and more than 4,000 mini emotions or mixed emotions. And optimistic is a mixed emotion because the basic is joy. What is optimistic for you? Kind of, joy is like a very, very, very big emotion. Optimistic is just, it's kind of, positive, it's nice, it's, making you kind of, light you up, but it's not like fireworks. So try to remember, or try to put yourself, or maybe you're feeling optimistic right now. Try to, if not, try to put yourself in this optimistic mood and say, the next nest will not necessarily be next to nothing. Meaning, when you do this exercise and when you say the tongue twister, don't say it quickly. This is not the task to say it quickly. The task is to say it with a particular emotion. And the next emotion is guilty. Guilty, I think that the basis of guilty, because it's also mixed emotion, the basic is sad. Sad and guilty. I would say it like this. For me, guilty sounds like this. The next nest will not necessarily be next to nothing. Can you hear that when I speak with optimistic voice, the sound of the voice is lighter, is louder, it's kind of, more brilliant. And when I say exactly the same tongue twister with guilty emotion, my voice sounds not that loud, like much more quiet and not that understandable when I put the emotion of guilt in this sentence. What I want to show you with this exercise is that the voice is the instrument of emotion. If you want to sound less monotonous, you should train your emotions. In particular, you should train how to express different emotions. It's lots of fun, but first of all, you should understand your emotions. It's all about emotional intelligence, and this exercise is very interesting because I give it all the time while my trainings in business schools or whatever. And people do. We have a cycle. All the participants, usually it's like about 30-40 people, choose a tongue twister, and every tongue twister has completely different emotions, and say it loudly. So people really can hear who can express emotions and who can express them less. Who can express only joy. Some people are trained, really trained, to express only joy. They're kind of, positive, always only positive. I don't know how they can manage it. And some people have the tendency to this sadness or melancholy. Very interesting exercise which really can help you to speak less monotonous if you train it, if you think about it, and if you try to speak with more emotion, especially when you have online meetings or online presentations. If you like this video, if you have got some input today, you can thank me with your thumb up, you can share this video, subscribe to my channel, and of course, if you have some questions, you can write them in the comments. Also, if you want to join us for the webinar on Monday, I will leave the link to my Telegram channel in the description below. I wish you everything, all the best, and see you in the next video. Bye bye.